week's episode of One Piece is gonna blow your mind with its awesome action set pieces, its great story developments, and its incredible use of abstract color schemes. This week's episode was trippy as hell. You'll think you're at Woodstock after seeing this one, but there was a lot of really cool action as well, and like I said, the story developments are really what made this one for me. All in all, this was a great episode of One Piece, so let's just go ahead and jump right into the developments. We finally go back to the Thousand Sunny ship, and we get to see what's happening to Brook, Chopper, Nami, and Momonosuke. And one of Don Quixote's goons are there, and it is one of the weirdest ones ever, and I love it. It is this weird, freaky, old, chubby woman by the name of Giola, and she has this crazy devil fruit power where she's able to create these weird, flashing, neon-colored clouds that will explode on impact, and whatever they touch will turn them into this weird, abstract art form in, like, all these crazy different colors. And I just love these type of villains in One Piece. They're really what make the series so incredibly distinct and unique from pretty much anything, because, frankly, the woman doesn't look all that intimidating at all. She just looks really weird and kind of creepy. It seems like Giola's powers are almost limitless, as she can really use her ability on anything, whether it be an inanimate object or an actual living person, and she uses it on the members of the Straw Hat Pirates, which are on the ship at the time, and they all go through a drastic transformation, and they all look pretty hilarious. First and foremost, can anybody tell me why Momonosuke has an ass in the middle of his forehead? I don't know what's up with that. Nami basically just slims down quite a bit, mostly in the bust size, and I did think it was funny when they were going around to each member as they were transforming, and they just happened to focus on Nami's breasts like they always seem to. That camera just always seems to drift down when she's in the scene. But Brook, he looks funny too. He essentially looks like that painting, I believe it's called The Scream, you know, Macaulay Culkin, you know where I'm going with this. Chopper, though, he looks awesome. He looks like a character from Minecraft, so all the characters look ridiculous, but then Giola transforms the entire Thousand Sunny ship into this just ridiculous thing that you could basically put on the cover of any progressive rock band album. It just looks ridiculous. The ship, the front of it, the mantle, the lion's head changes into this just ridiculous multicolored purple and yellow looking sun. The actual, flag of the Straw Hats pirate ship is actually ripped in half, and there's this new, weird sun thing lifting up into it. And this is when the Straw Hat Pirates are forced to leave the Thousand Sunny and stuck in these brand new weird abstract forms. One of my favorite scenes this week is when we go back to the Coliseum and we get to see that Ricky is a complete strugglesville. He's bleeding out, he's really pissed off, and then he runs into Rebecca. They clearly have some sort of a connection, so it's theory time. Alright, so this is what I think is going on with Rebecca, Ricky, and even the toy soldier, because they all seem to have some sort of connection. Now, before, Ricky was really mysterious because his mask was covering him the whole time. He was pulling off the whole Maximus thing. And as he lost the battle, a chunk of it was removed, and you can see he has, this, old man mustache. He even has an older-sounding voice. So, originally I thought that he might have been the original legendary warrior Kyros. I don't think that anymore. I actually think that Ricky is probably the grandfather of Rebecca, and that Kyros is actually the toy soldier who is Rebecca's father. The question is, why was he turned into a toy? And that brings up another question. How is this all going to tie in to how everyone in Dressrosa is actually turned into a toy? Is there a bigger reason for this? I guarantee there is. But if I'm in the right ballpark, somebody tell me. This is just my theory. This is what I'm getting from this. It seems kind of obvious, but not too obvious. There's still a lot of puzzle pieces that I haven't placed quite yet, but I liked the scene. It's building upon some of the other characters in the show. There's also an important scene between Diamante and Bellamy. Diamante is a character that they are holding back quite a bit on. They're revealing him little by little. We get to see a little more of him this week. He's got a weird, freaky, spider, lanky-like figure and a creepy-looking face with these weird markings going right down the center of his face. And then you got Bellamy, who now has the craziest mission to kill Luffy. And this is going to totally conflict with him. You can immediately see this because basically Luffy was sort of consoling him a couple of episodes ago, and then I'm guessing he sort of was just trying to act like a hard ass, but he sort of accepted Luffy as like a real rival and not just someone he doesn't give a shit about. So that's a pretty important element right there. And then there's another scene between Cavendish and Bartolomeo, basically just fighting over who's going to kill Luffy first. I really don't know what the deal is with that. But the other big scene this week, the one that the entire episode is actually named after, and it's probably the shortest scene of the week, is getting to see Luffy fight against this big-ass giant. And I like what the giant brought up. He's like, I want to be the first giant with a Logia-type devil fruit. And I'm like, wow, there really isn't anyone like that. And if there was a giant with, like, that type of ability, it would be pretty devastatingly powerful. So, that would be awesome. This guy wants to be king of the giants. Someone give him his own spin-off manga series. Too bad he's fighting against the would-be king of the pirates, who ends up kicking his ass after Brutal Bull ends up getting smashed into the ground. And he takes this guy out with pretty much just one badass hockey punch. It's definitely one of the coolest parts of the episode, ending this week, giving us our classic to-be-continued screen. So what is the rundown this week on One Piece 644? Well, my friends, I'm happy to say that this week's episode was actually really awesome, really entertaining. The animation and the artwork was pretty good this week. I think it was definitely on the high end of One Piece for the most part, especially in the first half of the episode when you got to see Giola and all of her abilities, how she was able to change things, how weird everything looked, the use of the colors and everything, and even a lot of just the camera pans looked really good when the Straw Hat Pirates were escaping from the ship. Everything was just pretty top-notch in that scene. And everything at the end was pretty cool, especially when you got to see Luffy landing that one big punch. That was definitely a highlight. But really, for me, it was all the little story highlights and things that they're putting in this week's episode that I'm really starting to enjoy. Especially the whole thing with Rebecca and Ricky. I just really am interested to see where that story is going. And it's not too often when I'm watching a One Piece arc where I get too invested in the side characters. I tend to really just like to see what the Straw Hat Pirates are doing. But I'm very intrigued about what their backstory is and how it's going to tie into everything. And can you believe we didn't even get back to the battle between frickin' Isho, Doflamingo, and Law? That's just blowing my mind. And they even ended the thing with Usopp last week with his goofy face. There is so much going on in the Dressrosa arc, and that's what makes it so entertaining. They can pretty much just do whatever they want and go wherever they want, and there's a million little stories going on, but they all will connect at the end of the day, and I can't wait to see how that's going to happen. So, top-notch episode right here. I am going to drop it down to a 9 out of 10 for one specific reason, and that's that the episode was touting this as like a big battle with Luffy, and it was basically just shelved at the very end of the episode. But everything that was there this week was really awesome, really entertaining, and is moving the story along. So One Piece fans, check out this week's episode. It is really exciting, it's moving the story along, and it's getting me even more excited for the rest of the Dressrosa arc. If you guys saw this week's episode of One Piece, I want to hear what you thought about it. You can tell me with your comments below. Tell me about your favorite moments. Did you not like the episode? What did you think of Giola and her crazy abstract color powers? And what's the connection between Rebecca and Ricky? Remember guys, before you leave, make sure and give this video a thumbs up and give it a like. It really helps out these videos a lot. And remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And you can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links to both of those in the description box below. So guys, I will see you in the next review. Super Kami Guru 9000, out.